We are going to begin the funeral service, Mr. Jerry Goldstein. If you have a cell phone, I'd ask you kindly to place it into silent mode or turn it completely off at this time. I'd also like to welcome everybody via live stream. On behalf of the family, thank you. And services will be conducted by Rabbi Jonathan Cohn.
Thank you. Kol omer kra, ve'amar ma ekra. Kol habasar chatzir, v'chol chasto ketzitz hasadeh. Yavesh chatzir nevel tzitz ki ruach Adonai navsha bo, achen chatzir ha'am. Yavesh chatzir nevel tzitz, udvar Elohinu yakum le'olam. A voice says, cry out. And I say, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all its beauty is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, when a wind of the Lord blows upon it. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God shall endure forever. O Lord, who shall dwell in your sanctuary? Who shall abide upon your holy mountain? He who lives with integrity, does what is right, and speaks the truth in his heart. Who has no slander upon his tongue, who does no evil to his fellow man, who does not reproach his neighbor. In his eyes, a vile person is despised, but he honors those who revere the Lord. He takes an oath even to his own harm and does not change. He does not lend money at usurious interest. He does not take a bribe against the innocent. Whoever does these things shall stand firm forever. Al tiraki imcha ani, al tishtaki ani Elohecha. Imatzticha af azarticha, af timachticha bimin tziki. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will sustain you through my power. We're gathered here to mourn and to honor the memory of Jerry Goldstein, or as he appears on a plaque from an outing he once organized at his agency, Jerry Fireball Goldstein, or as Corey and others knew him, Jerry Sassy Pants Goldstein. These names were not given to him at birth. He earned these names. And standing on this bima, I find it a heavy burden now to speak words of comfort in Jerry's memory in the very presence of his wooden box, as if I were right now under the critical eyebrows of Mr. Sassy Pants himself. Jerry kept all his life an expressive roll of the eyes that teenagers might envy. What are you feeling, Jerry? What are you thinking? Would you mind sharing your opinion? Never in his life did anyone direct these questions at Jerry. But his thoughts and opinions were not idle. He put himself into every one of them. When he felt a bond, it was unshakable. When he held a value, he pursued it come what may. Jerry had a home in Arizona, but he was born in Elgin. And in the end, he comes back to Elgin, and it was Elgin all along. He worked at an agency in Chicago, but his vision was too great for that. And his bond was too great for that. And no one could have been surprised when he founded an agency of his own and placed it back here in Elgin. His vision was a Jewish vision, and he promoted this congregation all his life, as had his father before him. He was the second kid ever to celebrate his bar mitzvah in this building. Jerry was president of this congregation, and not a placeholder president either. As the centennial approached of the founding of this shul 2 buildings earlier, Jerry was equal to the historic occasion and engaged Yitzhak Perlman to perform at the Hemmons Center with the Elgin Symphony Orchestra to celebrate. Yes, Jerry supported the Hemmons Center, and he served on the board of the Elgin Symphony Orchestra. Elgin had been good to him, and this was where he made his mark. And so he promoted art for the people of this city, and Jerry knew how to promote. While he practiced public relations for the shul and for the orchestra and for his clients in one office of his Elgin building, his wife Rose volunteered her time providing the city with works of art at little or no profit from another section that she called Artist Cove. Jerry's heart never left Elgin. It was his place from birth. Everything was personal for Jerry. You can't succeed in public relations without connecting to the heart. Jerry loved this congregation as he loved the Jewish way of life. The two were one for him. And it was through his vision of Jewish life that Corey joined the tribe. There was no hiding Jerry's feelings then. There never was. When Corey first recited her Hebrew blessing over the candles on Erev Shabbat, Jerry's eyes did not roll. They filled up. After Rose died, Jerry flew to their former home in Arizona to visit the people and places that they shared. Rose's presence to him was palpable, something that he could feel in the dark. Nothing of Jerry's life went gently into the past. Fully aware of his blessings when he had them, he savored them again after they were gone. He loved the shul of his youth, and he did all he could to keep it with him. He loved his city, and he did what he could to extend and increase its benefits to its people. The sages say that when you join a synagogue, you shouldn't wander nomadically in its sanctuary from one position to another. From many different seats, one can get many perspectives. But tafasta meruba la tafasta, if you grab too much, you catch nothing. Stay in one seat, they advised. All the time, make it your sanctuary home. Take that one perspective and keep it. And don't let it go. If you want to know about homes, ask the people who returned to their home in Jerusalem after 100 generations. Jerry's seed is still here. And it's still his. Keep your place. Keep your perspective. Keep your bond. Never let it go. And all your life, like Jerry, you'll have a home and a people and a vision. Tender as a father with his children, the Lord is merciful with his worshipers. He knows how we are fashioned. He remembers that we are but dust. The days of man are as grass. He flourishes as a flower in the field. The wind passes over it, and it is gone. And no one can recognize where it grew. But the Lord's compassion for his worshipers, his righteousness to children's children remain, age after age, unchanging. I'm very pleased now to call forward Lorene to speak in Jerry's memory.
Thank you, Rabbi. My name is Laureen, and I have been friends with Corey for over 15 years, and I feel privileged to be up here speaking for her and Jerry. I met Jerry briefly here in Illinois, but it wasn't until they moved to Arizona and he was midway into his Alzheimer's journey that I came to know and love Jerry. Although I did delight in seeing videos and pictures of Jerry from the past and hearing the stories of how he thrived when he was center stage, making people laugh with his fun-loving antics. These character traits stayed true in Jerry until the end, although they took on different forms as time went on. Once, when my husband and I were visiting Corey and Jerry in Arizona, we went out to dinner. It was the one and only time we had ever gone out to dinner with them. When Corey told Jerry that they were treating us to dinner that night, with the bold gusto only Jerry could muster, he said, "Again?" Jerry brought us to tears laughing, and we reminisce on that fun occasion many times. I was blessed to be a regular visitor at what a friend called the Goldstein Hacienda. My wonderful husband encouraged me to visit Corey and Jerry 4 times a year for a week at a time. I held that almost perfectly. COVID did put a kink in those plans, though. My husband was blown away by the diligence and sacrifice Corey set forth to take care of the man she so dearly loved. If she couldn't take a vacation or even a day off, he wanted me to be there for her as much as I could. I bonded with Jerry in 2 big ways. First, by being an audience and a participant to Jerry's fun antics to make people laugh. When he was short on words, He creatively used his facial expressions and body language to convey his lighthearted play in being silly. We had a lot of good times interacting with Jerry this way. But there were times when he wasn't in a lighthearted, silly mood. Corey knew Jerry inside and out like the back of her hand. She saw what she called a mood coming on, and she would take measures to intercept and try to change its trajectory. She was very often successful. She would play his favorite songs and sing to him. When I was there, I would add my own silly antics, and if it managed to derail a bad mood episode, it became a little party of fun with Jerry at center stage. If it did not work or it only delayed the inevitable, Corey sat him in his favorite chair in the bedroom with his favorite music to calm him. But sometimes the furniture took a verbal beating until he felt better. My other point of bonding with Jerry was through his favorite movie, Fiddler on the Roof. On one of my visits, I had asked Corey if we could watch it because I had never seen it before. At this time, Jerry was no longer paying attention to the television. So after he went to bed, we started to watch. Once Jerry was in bed, he was always settled and fell asleep without issue. However, within the first 20 minutes of turning on the movie in the living room, Jerry had been so restless that Corey had to go in there multiple times. Finally, she sensed that this might be due to the movie, his favorite movie. So she got him out of bed and sat him on the couch, and he enjoyed the music and the movie with us for the next couple of hours. He was even trying to get my attention with funny faces, but Corey had to nudge me because I was falling asleep. But I did really love the movie, and now it has a new meaning, and I will never see that movie without thinking of Jerry. About 2 years ago, I had a one-on-one time with Jerry, and I was able to capture it on my phone on video. It was a wonderful interaction between us. I engaged him in small talk, and he responded in his own special way, where he could at least go back and forth with me, even if it didn't make complete sense. We were still bonding. At one point in the conversation, he came out and said, "Don't leave me." I was touched, and I assured him I wouldn't, and that his wonderful wife, Corey, would be back shortly. I reminded him how lucky he was to have such a wonderful wife who loved him so much. He knew it. Even if he couldn't express it as frequently or as clearly as time went on, he knew he was loved and cared for by this wonderful woman who was there all the time. And she would tell him all the time, multiple times a day, that she loved him, and she would kiss him. In the beginning stages, he would answer her with an "I love you too," and a kiss with the little lips to get one. Towards the end, she would say, "I know you love me too." Corey is the only person who could speak Jerry's language of loving, silly, and personal idioms. The bond between them and the selfless sacrifice of his doting wife, who managed every single detail of his care, was an inspiration to many a visitor and caregiver, and there were many caregivers. In the 2.5 years in hospice, Corey saw over 150 caregivers come through her doors. And each one of them was taught the protocol that Corey set up to give Jerry the absolute best care possible for the highest quality of life possible under these conditions. The job description was not for the faint of heart. If you were Jerry's caregiver, you were going to interact with him and do for him what Corey would do herself. Of the multitude of caregivers that came through, there are many stories that Corey could tell you of those who could not handle the demands of the 110% Corey expected to be given to her Jerry's care. Mostly, though, there were many good, caring professionals who helped along the way. Corey will be forever grateful for all of those who did help to make her job a little bit easier. And then there was the elite, Jerry's angels, the best of the best, those who Corey would like me to mention briefly. First, Cece. This is where Mr. Fun, center of attention, strong-headed Jerry met fun, gregarious, strong-willed caregiver Cece. Caregiving was Cece's job on the weekend. She did a regular 40-hour-a-week job during the week, and she could have had a third job at a comedy club. Her engaging, witty sense of humor with the comedic delivery and expressions was a delight to Corey, and self-admittedly, by Cece herself, a pain in the butt to Jerry. She was the one who gave Jerry the nickname you heard earlier that Rabbi mentioned, Mr. Sassy Pants Fireball Goldstein. Cece became a friend, not just a caregiver. Sienna. Sienna was a sweet young 20-something who endeared herself to Corey and Jerry so much that Corey feels as if she has gained a grandchild. It was a tough time when Sienna moved out of Arizona, but Corey is still in touch with her today. Justina. Justina considered Jerry her source of wisdom. She would ask him his advice on a subject matter and what she should do. And in his own special way, facial expressions and body language, he would set her on a path that she should take. Hannah. She is the only caregiver in the end who could get Jerry to eat all that was on the menu. She also has this magical power of efficiency and is another caregiver gifted with a humorous wit. Corey spoke so highly of Hannah that when I saw her, I told her I was surprised that she was sitting down. I fully expected her to be levitating off the ground. Corey says Hannah gave her extra time with Jerry due to her ability to get him to eat so much on her shifts. But Corey's implausible dedication and care gave the highest quality of life there was possible. Corey sacrificed her needs and her wants so that Jerry could have the best life possible. She was, upon getting hospice in for Jerry, allowed 5 days a month of a free respite care where Jerry could go to a nursing home and be taken care of so that she could recoup and not get burned out. She did not want to do it because it was during COVID and she would not be able to visit him in person. She feared that if she wasn't there to oversee the situation, that things could go wrong. But everyone encouraged her to do so because of the toll it takes on the main caregivers in these difficult situations. Unfortunately, she was right. Jerry came back dehydrated and not eating. People were fired in the nursing home because of the situation. Corey and the hospice staff had to get him back to where he was the week before. She never let him go again. I saw the toll this took on Corey. She was on the brink of burnout. Only by the grace of God, and I mean that literally, she was able to bounce back from the stress that she was under from that ordeal. When Jerry regained his strength and was stable, Corey regained hers too. After that, for 2.5 years, Corey did not leave the house for over 3 hours at a time. She told me once that she didn't care what happened to her as long as God would keep her around long enough to see Jerry through his journey here on earth. Corey was there for the entirety with undying love and compassion. From Jerry's diagnosis in 2010 and driving him to his beginning appointments of his Alzheimer's journey, to the very end, in the home they picked out together in Arizona, knowing that it would be the home that would carry them through all the stages of Alzheimer's. Today marks the end of that journey. But Corey's love for Jerry and the love of his family and friends will continue on in our hearts until we meet again. God bless you, Corey.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. Good people need comfort like yours. מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לו אחסר בינות דשא ירביצני ימי מנוחות ינהלני נפשי ישובב ינחני ומגלי צדק למען שמו. As I recite Psalm 23 in English, note that the psalm introduces us to God as He. And at one point, perhaps you will note the point, that changes, and God becomes you, and it all becomes close and personal. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He has me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He guides me on paths of righteousness. He revives my soul for the sake of his glory. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod do comfort me. You set a table in sight of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall abide in the house of the Lord forever. Please rise. El mele rachamim shochen bamromim hamitzem menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina b'malot kedoshim utehorim kezora rakia mazirim et nishmat Yaakov leben Chaim Yitzchak v'Roske shehalach le'olamo began Eden tehemenuchato anabal rachamim asdirehu beseter knafecha leolamim utzror bitzrachim et nishmato Adonai hu nachlato v'yanuach b'shalom al mishkavo v'nomar amen. O God, exalted and full of compassion, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure. To the soul of Yaakov Leb ben Chaim Yitzchak v'Roske, Jerome Goldstein, who has gone to his eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember all the worthy and righteous deeds that he performed in the land of the living. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. The Lord is his portion. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen.
This does conclude the service here at the synagogue. Interment will take place at Bluff City Cemetery. If you're going in procession, we will be forming the procession in the parking lot. Please keep in mind a few safety features while in the procession. Keep your bright headlights on at all times. Put your emergency blinkers on. Attach the orange funeral sticker to the passenger portion of your front windshield. And we will also attach a flag to the roof of your car. And please stay as close as safety permits to the car in front of you. Following the interment, the family will return back here to the congregation to sit Shiva, and that will be from 3 p.m. until 5 p.m., I believe in the library. So friends are welcome to return back for that. At this time, I would like that everyone please rise as the family, Mr. Goldstein, the rabbi are escorted from the sanctuary. If we could have some of the gentlemen step forward to help serve as pallbearers, please.